Councillors, are you ready? Staff? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land within the Shire of Chittering, the Ewart and Whadjuk peoples. We would like to pay respect to the elders of the Noongar Nation, past and present, who have walked and cared for the land. We acknowledge and respect the continuing culture and the contributions made to this region. I declare the meeting open at 7 p.m. Please note, as part of, as per Council Resolution 1304/23, this meeting is being live streamed, but you'll be relieved to know they can't see you sitting back there in the gallery, so you're safe. Item 2, record of attendance of policies, approved leave of absence and announcements. In attendance we have all of Council and we have all of our staff. So thank you very much, everyone. And there is one member of the public gallery, so welcome. In terms of apologies, there are nil. Two, I can't count. Two. In terms of apologies, there are nil. Approved leave of absence, there are nil. Announcements. Councillors are to advise their attendance and their role as elected members and meetings. So, councillors, you have a list of attendances on the screen. Are there any edits to the list of attendances? Thank you. No edit to the list of attendances. Item 3, disclosures of interest. Councillors, are there any disclosures of interest of matters before Council tonight? No disclosures of interest. Item 4, public question time. Response to previous public questions taken on notice, there is nil. Public question time. Are there any public questions? Thank you. Item 5, presentations, petitions and deputations. All 3, there are nil. Item 6, application for leave of absence. Councillors, are there any requests for leave of absence? No requests for leave of absence. I'll move on. First item of business is item 7, confirmation of minutes of ordinary council meeting held Wednesday the 21st of August 2024. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to confirm those minutes. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Curtis was first, thank you. Seconder, please, Councillor Angus, you were close. Councillors, anyone speaking? Councillor Curtis, you want to speak to the...
No, thanks.
Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Councillors, no one speaking against the officer's recommendation, I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. Item 8, announcements from the presiding member. I'd firstly like to welcome Mr James McGovern from Walga, can't speak, who's observing tonight. Hopefully reflects well in his scorecard of our performance. Thank you, James. I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Angus has recently completed a diploma in local governance, so congratulations and I'm glad it wasn't my contribution that didn't discourage your success.
Can I give a brief response?
Please do.
Through the Chair, thank you. I'd like to thank the Shire for their support, and especially the CEO and Councillor King and Councillor Ross. Thank you for your assistance. I think it, although challenging, was a valuable exercise. I think I've learned a lot in my knowledge in working towards meeting community expectations and needs while still addressing the limitations and obligations and constraints of being an elected member. So thank you.
Congratulations, Councillor Angus. I'm sure you'll put that newfound wisdom to use. Some further announcements. So since our last meeting, you'd be aware that we held the Taste of Chittering recently. The event was a great success. And despite some telecommunications issues on the day, thanks to Telstra, but nevertheless, I think the staff have to be congratulated for the effort that went into to organise that event, and I think I think you'll agree with me over the years that has just flourished, that event. So, but it wouldn't occur without the valuable contribution from the staff and volunteers who helped out. So thank you very much. Another note is the Spring Fest has attracted the visitors to the Shire, to all various events. And so thank you for everyone involved in showcasing our beautiful Shire and wildflower season, which is only just beginning. You'll be aware of the past weekend we had the Tarmac West Rally through Lower Chittering, for which I think this is the last year of the MOU that we have, current MOU that's in place. And we're currently conducting a community survey to seek feedback on the event, to see community feedback. And so encourage councillors in the community to provide their feedback either by social media or the website. So thank you. Sunday, we held Historical Vehicles Day at the Bindoon Oval. So congratulations to the organiser for the enjoyable day and the many enthusiasts travelling far and wide. I'd like to just read out on behalf of the Bindoon District Historical Society. We would like to thank the Shire staff for all their support of the Bindoon Historic Vehicle Day, in particular the Parks and Garden crew in presenting the town and oval in such a wonderful condition. So it's signed by the members of the museum. So congratulations again to the CEO and staff for their efforts in presenting the township for that historic event, which occurs every year. On Friday, coming up this Friday, we have a citizenship ceremony, and we look forward to sharing the important moment with some of our new residents. So if any councillors are available, please feel free. One final special note is that tonight is the last meeting for Danae. Danae's our minute taker, who taking maternity leave. So, and is also our support officer. So, over the years, we certainly couldn't have held these council meetings without your valuable contribution for taking our accurate minutes. And so, I'd like to wish you the best for motherhood again, and we hope to see you back again taking the minutes. And I'm sure Anne will do a wonderful job in your absence. Other than that, I think I'm covered on announcements. We'll move on to item 9, reports. Development Services. First item of business is DS01 0924, endorsement of the Bushfire Management Plan 2024 to 2026. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to endorse the Bushfire Management Plan. Can I have a mover? Thank you. Councillor Ross. Seconder, please. Councillor Campbell. Councillor Ross.
Thanks, Mr. President. It's probably worth prefacing our support of this by reminding our community that this is a very high-risk bushfire shire in terms of comparisons with other shires and local government areas across WA. So that means that it's critical for us to do very competent risk assessment and planning of how to mitigate that risk. So this has been put together with a great deal of research behind it. We've had the chance to be briefed on it a couple of months ago. All of our volunteer fire brigades have had input to this and improved it through their feedback. So it will be a valuable document in its own right for the Shire's management of bushfire risk, but it also will be an assistance to us by way of accessing mitigation funds from various government departments. Thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Campbell.
Thanks, Councillor King. It's the exact same message as Councillor Ross, except just to add that it's reviewed and updated every 2 years, with the full review occurring every 5 years. And yeah, very critical for the grant funding for bushfire mitigation treatments. Fully endorse the officer's recommendations.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for the officer's recommendation? Okay, Councillor Ross, you have right of reply if necessary. Councillors, no one speaking for the officer's recommendation. I'll declare carried without dissent. Thank you, 7-0. Sorry?
It's okay.
Full. Next item of business is DS020924, road closure request, referral to Department of Lands for lot 1104 Grey Road in Doon. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Campbell. Seconder, please. Councillor Ross. Councillor Campbell.
Thanks, President King. So this is the road closure request for Grey Road, Bundoon, brought before Council in May. The advertising has been complete with no submissions, so it's brought back to us to endorse the main road request. So yeah, endorse it.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Ross. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Councillor Campbell, right of reply?
Nothing, thanks.
Council, no one's speaking against the officer's recommendation. I'll declare carried without dissent 7-0. Thank you. Next item of business, DS030924, management order lot 1235 on DP 426544, which is known as Wildflower Ridge Public Open Space. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to accept the ongoing management responsibilities. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Oh, okay. Councillor Hughes, thank you. Seconder, please. Councillor Ross. Councillor Hughes.
Happy to move this motion. This is, to be clear, it's not handing over yet the ongoing management of the lot. It's an administrative step which will allow for the construction to start on a lot which is long overdue. I'm sure the residents in there will be very happy to see this progressing to actually developing something on that block. So happy to get the ball rolling on this.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. Councillor Ross.
Not really anything to add. It's a normal administrative step when an estate is being developed like this, and it's best to get onto it while the development works are happening elsewhere on the site.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation?
I'll speak against it.
Councillor Campbell.
So my recommendation to bring this to council is probably the timing's not right. There's a contractual negotiation between the developer and us regarding what that the public open space is, what the development will be, what the playground and the sports field. Whilst this is relating to the management order, and taking responsibility and ownership of that public open space, I believe we need to iron out the legal requirements between us and the developer to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So we're not left carrying the can should something go wrong with the developer. I wouldn't expect anything would go wrong, but at the end of the day, we might be carried the can should something unforeseen happen between us and the developer. I appreciate it. This is to take the management order of the property, but we should be looking at doing that once the contract has been signed between the developer and ourselves. So I don't support it as it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Council speaking against for the officer's recommendation. Councillor Angus.
Yes, while I understand Councillor Campbell's concerns, I also realise that this is a requirement to take over the responsibilities from the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage, because we can't enter into another contract of what we're going to put on it if we don't own those responsibilities. So I'm in support.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors. Okay, everyone's had their turn to speak. Councillor Hughes.
Oh, just if everyone's spoken, just in right of reply.
No, I'll just add something if you don't mind. Look, I'll just reiterate the sentiment that The purpose of this is to vest the land from the Crown to the Shire so that we can actually enter an agreement with the developer for the public open space. So one won't occur without the other, and one's not conditional on the other, except that the negotiations in terms of the public open space development are ongoing and subject to State Administrative Tribunal resolution, if I understand correctly. That's correct. Done. And so they're separate exercises. So in my view, it's in the public interest, and it's safe or reasonable for council to accept the ongoing responsibility or vested management of the public open space from the Crown. It's my view. Councillors, everyone's had an opportunity to talk. Councillor Hughes, you have right of reply.
Yeah, just to confirm that most of, or if not all, of the contracts have been signed. It's just the management order that will be developed once this step has been completed that needs to be done. But we don't foresee any further issues, and I certainly do share Councillor Campbell's concerns that this has been a long, protracted process to get us to this point. So happy to see it moving ahead now.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. Councillors, everyone's had the opportunity to speak to the officer's recommendation. We've had right of reply. I'll put the officer's recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? 6 against, 1. So carried 6-1. Thank you. Next section of businesses is technical services, which there are nil. Other than that, corporate services, CS01 0924. Apologies, that is my alarm going off. Just 1 minute. Sorry.
I saw that.
Sorry, it's my sugars. CS01 0924 monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of July 2024. We have an officer's recommendation to receive the financial report for the period ending 31st of July 2024. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Ross. Seconder, please. Councillor Angus. Councillor Ross.
Very little to say, Mr President, because this is a standard report that we receive every month. It appears to me to be all responsible expenditure within budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillor Angus.
I didn't see anything that I felt was out of order. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation?
I'm not against, but I've just got a few points.
Councillor Curtis.
It's just number 54, Neski, is 5,500 for the rent. I think that's...
Councillor Curtis, I think you're on the wrong item.
So next.
So we're doing CS01.
List of accounts.
No, monthly financial report.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no problems. Okay, Councillor Ross, right of reply. Councillor Curtis, you weren't speaking against this particular motion?
No.
Okay. So councillors, no one speaking against the officer's recommendation. I will declare carried without debate, or without dissent. 7-0, so thank you. Next item of business is CS 02-0924, list of accounts paid for the period ending 31st of August 2024. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the list of accounts. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Councillor Curtis. Seconder. Councillor Ross. Councillor Curtis.
Mr President, yeah, I went through the accounts and quite a few. But I picked out two that should be looked into or changed for next year or next budget. In Eski, they wanted $5,500 to rent their property for the Taste of Chittering, which I think too much. And the other one was NV News, $3,300 for the month. I think we should cut back on our advertising for that. That's a lot of money.
So Councillor Curtis, do you want to ask a question of the CEO regarding the Neshi payment and Northern Valley News, or you just want to make a statement?
I'd like to, let the councils aware that, next budget, we, especially Neski, maybe move the Taste of Chittering up here.
Thank you, Councillor Curtis. Councillor Ross. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for? Councillor Curtis, you have right of reply.
Nothing to add, Mr. President.
I'll put this one to the vote because of the questions you've asked. So, councillors, I'll put the officer's recommendation to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 7-0, thank you. Next item of business, CS 030924, monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of August 2024. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the monthly financial report. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation, please? Councillor Angus is the mover. Seconder, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Angus.
Just to say that I'm happy to receive it, and again, I didn't see anything that appeared to be out of the ordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillor Campbell.
Nothing to add, thanks.
Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Angus.
Nothing to add, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors, no one speaking against the officer's recommendation. I'll declare carried without dissent for 7-0. Thank you. Chief Executive Officer section. First item of business is CEO 010924. Work Health and Safety Statistic Report for August 2024. Councillors, you have an officer's recommendation to receive the report. Can I have a mover for the officer's recommendation? So thank you, Councillor Angus. Seconder, Councillor Ross. Councillor Angus.
Yes, again, pleased to receive the report. Did notice all the little list of near misses. Happy that the CEO has kept all the staff safe and well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillor Ross.
Just to pass on to Council a query I raised with the CEO about the first incident listed that occurred in the library. I queried the CEO about whether there are duress alarms in the library and the front reception counter, because much as this was relatively low-key, anything of course can happen, and the CEO confirmed that both of those locations have duress alarms which alert people elsewhere in the building, which I think is very sound practice. Thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. Councillors, anyone speaking against the officer's recommendation? Anyone wish to speak for the officer's recommendation? Councillor Angus, you've right of reply.
Pleased to hear that information from Councillor Ross about duress alarms. I think that's great and it is very important. You're right.
Thank you, Councillor Angus. Councillors, I'll put this one to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 7-0. Thank you. Item 10, reports of committees. There are nil. Item 11, motions of which previous notice has been given. There are nil. Item 12, questions from members without notice. Are there any questions from members? Councillor Curtis.
Mr. President, just one question I was asked to see about. Was there ever a bylaw banning cats and horses down at Ghost Gum Drive when it was originally subdivided?
Cats and horses.
Yeah, cats and hoofed animals.
Separately or together?
All together.
I'm just trying to understand.
It was in the original subdivision.
On
We'll take that on notice.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Curtis, anything else?
No, that's it, thanks.
No other questions, Councillor?
Well,
hang on. Here we
oh,
go.
Well, Mark, no, go on.
A's before
Gentlemen
you,
first.
Go you.
Councillor Campbell, you were...
All right. Lower Chittering community sign. It's been a year without power. When will that be activated, or can we move it to power?
Through the CEO.
Are we talking about the new site?
Well, yeah, we call it new. Yes, it's been there for a year.
The digital sign.
The digital sign, yeah.
Oh, the sign. It's an ongoing battle with us with Western Power. They haven't sent out the team to set up the dome. So we are following up. That's on our weekly checkup of my EMT team.
So can we move it then if there's no power available? Western Power can't provide a dome?
It's still going to be there. We just need to install it
Okay.
when there's power.
So Western Power can't give us a time frame. Thank you.
Any other questions, Councillor?
That's it.
Councillor Dewar.
Yeah, I've got a couple arising from a funeral I went to the other day up at the cemetery. I had some feedback from some locals about the state of the cemetery, and I must admit I concurred with them. And I guess that the two questions, well, the main question is, can we spend some money there to improve the overall outlook of it? More specifically, can we put up a fence? And the other question is, can we improve the road in up there?
So Councillor Dewar we'll do the first question first. So improve the site.
Yeah, sorry, just with the fencing thing, there's a mob of cattle in the next door neighbour's paddock, and people say to me, if 50 cattle jump the fence, then we don't have a cemetery.
Okay. So to the CEO respond to the improvement of the site and the fence.
So the Shire...
You're there too.
Yes. The Shire is not responsible for neighbours' fences to keep their cattle in, and therefore we won't be spending money on their fence. On the improvements to the cemetery, I have brought twice in a row budget line items to council, which have both been deferred or taken out of the budget. So it is in our plans. We have got plans to improve the cemetery as soon as we've got some funding. We've got the team. It's actually, they spent a lot of time and effort in cleaning up the cemetery after the fire that went through. And within our means, we are beautifying as we go along with additional plants.
I guess just one other comment is that a lot of locals tend to go to Gingin, or not a lot of locals, some locals tend to go to Gingin. I'm just wondering if that's because of the state of the Bindoon Cemetery.
Well, you'll have to ask them that.
Can I just make one more comment, please? After that funeral, we've actually had several people commenting on how special our cemetery is, and we've had one of the families book a spot the next day, the very next day. So we got conflicting feedback.
Well, that wasn't because that catering, was it? Thank you. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. All right. Thank you, Councillor Dewar. The second question was regard to the condition of the road, which is Grey Road. Did you not ask a question about the road?
The road into the...
cemetery.
Oh, into the cemetery. I guess that falls in under the third
it
capital
does,
works.
yeah.
Sorry, I
Thank you, yeah.
understood it to be the Grey
No,
Road.
not Grey Road.
No problems. Councillor Dewar, questions? No? Councillors, any other questions? If there are no other questions, I'll move on. Item 13, new business of an urgent nature introduced by decision of the meeting. There are nil. Item 14, meeting closed to the public. There are nil matters. Item 15, closure. I declare the meeting closed at 7:29. So thank you.